Welcome back to the GlitchFeed Podcast, your source for everything gaming. I'm your host, Troy. It's the week of March 27th. Today I'm joined by Sarah.
Hey.
And Justin.
Hey.
Sarah wrote the intro, so it says Troy, and I messed up, clearly.
He just likes talking about himself.
Always in the third person.
Always.
So it's another week of gaming
It's
news.
a week. Sure is.
It's a week. We're in a very odd March lull, I think, between the kind of ball buster of GDC and PAX at once, and then the kind of lead up to, E3. Really, it's a very odd, dry time. So we're here. We are doing the news. So let's just do the releases since those are obviously easier to do. First up, we have Out of the Park 16 for PC. It's a baseball simulator.
Awesome.
It's one of the few MLB licensed simulators that aren't like the EA or 2K titles. I don't even know who does the MLB ones anymore.
I think it's just 2K and Sony has their exclusive one.
Yeah, what is it? The
show.
The show. That's what it is. And obviously whatever 2K MLB 15 or 16 or whatever. But it's more of a kind of in-depth simulation. It's more of a mathy simulation, which is cool. It's more statophile. I'd really like that for every other sport but baseball, but, here we are. So the next up is Bloodborne for PS4.
Yeah.
I don't have a PS4. This is where you guys usually jump in and talk about stuff.
I have a PS4 and I have Bloodborne.
How is it?
No.
I heard some mediocre responses with people that are comparing it to Dark Souls. The Dark Souls, yeah.
Because I'm actually surprised. It's actually probably one of the first killer apps on a current gen console. Well, and it's like, if you even look at a Metacritic, it's getting, I think, over 30 reviews. It's sitting at 93.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm saying comparing it, because they're saying like a lot of people are expecting the difficulty level of Dark Souls, and apparently it's just been meh. It's okay. You don't die as much.
For this hardcore, oh shit, I died a lot. But my dying is probably because it's a Souls game. It's definitely like all the mechanics are there, but the combat feels different enough that it took me a while to get used to it. It's definitely faster paced. There's no more just hiding behind a shield. Things come at you quick. You're more relying on your maneuverability than, parrying or blocking. So far, I'm enjoying it. It's a gorgeous game. It's definitely truly something that feels like it belongs on this generation of gaming, which is just nice to see. I haven't gotten far, so I can't really talk that much about it, but it's great. I'm enjoying it. And like you said, I heard people it's Demon Souls. I think is probably supposed to be the hardest one. Then I think it's Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2, and Bloodborne is somewhere in between as far as difficulty goes, between Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls is what I'm hearing. That matters to those type of people. I see you two could care less.
I mean,
I'm just getting subtle nods.
It's not my game. Like,
no, I got you.
I'm sitting here playing Harvest Moon while we're doing this podcast. Like, I've never been interested in those types of games, so it's kind of just it's skimming my radar. It was a game a lot of people were excited about, but that's about it. So.
It still has fucked up co-op. At least this time you can actually somewhat find who you're looking for. In all the Souls games, there never was a way to actually, just jump in somebody's game. You have to put down, this little mark, and someone has to click it. You gotta hope you're in the same area and level range to make it work. They kind of make some adjustments for that. And basically, you have a safe word. People punch in, you punch in the same words, and you should be able to connect to the same game. Or if you want to play with a group of people, that's kind of a cool way to do it too, actually. It's kind of like Nintendo's Mario Kart, where you make a lobby and you have a certain room for that lobby or ID, and then everybody has that code can connect to you. So it's a step in the right direction. It's just weird. They just need to let you just straight join or invite friends. But yeah, that's about all I got for it. Unless anybody has any questions.
Feel free to ask a question in the comments below on YouTube.
I may or may not answer it.
So it's kind of another remaster, another new game that came out this week was that Borderlands: The Handsome Collection for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, which is more of a next or / current gen remaster of some classic Borderlands games.
It's just another remaster.
It's a remaster of 2 and pre-sequel. And it also includes all the DLC for both of those games. The one big thing, obviously, it doesn't include is the first Borderlands.
Yeah.
Actually, Randy Pitchford, the Gearbox CEO, just had an interview about that on, I think it was Major Nelson Radio podcast. Basically, the issue is it's a totally different engine. Borderlands 1 to Borderlands 2, and Borderlands 2 and pre-sequel share an engine. So it would require a lot of work to transfer it, obviously, over. But Gearbox really wants it, so it all matters it all hinges around the Handsome Collection sales. Whether or not they'll do a Borderlands 1 remaster.
I think I gotta say, I wouldn't care, because after playing Borderlands 2, there's absolutely no reason to play Borderlands 1 whatsoever.
Yeah, but it'd be nice to have the whole collection in one spot. You see Master Chief did it, and for what it's worth, it does deliver what it was supposed to do. It does put all the games on one platform, which is nice. You have one-stop shop. You can play all the campaigns. And Borderlands 1 and 2 and pre-sequel in the same spot would be great. Especially once we talk about Borderlands 3. That'll be on the next gen, in the current gen, rather. So you'll be able to play through the entire series, and anyone who just is dropping into 3, for example, can now go back and play, 1 and 2 in pre-sequel without having to, get another console.
I think that's definitely one of the nicest things. I just hope one day we get to the point with games, everything's just digital, which that's going to happen. But if you purchase a game, just every console within that family can play your previous games, so you have the opportunity to, instead of having to keep rebuying, repurchasing, remastering over and over again.
Well, it's interesting you mention that, because I think that's where Microsoft is going, very much so, with kind of the Xbox One is very much just a Windows platform. And we're going to see, once Windows 10 comes out, more parity between PC and Xbox in terms of, what you buy and what you use on both consoles. And I think, moving down the line many, many years, the next console might be just, the same way of it's just another upgrade of a PC, basically. And, because the framework was put in place in the Xbox One, maybe next gen it won't be an issue.
Which that'd be awesome. And it actually sounds like maybe possibly that's what Nintendo's hitting at with their next system as well, or the cross, just trying to get everything connected together.
Well, and Nintendo's been very good with the whole virtual console for a while now, since the original Wii, of making even very old games available on its further consoles. But the Wii was basically had a GameCube emulator rolled into it. It could play all the GameCube games with the disc, so it's not unheard of.
Them bringing it to the Wii U is kind of messed up, because you have to launch the whole Wii thing to get access to your old virtual consoles. You just don't straight carry it over.
Yeah, but it's at least giving you parity on one device. You have one device that is your Wii and your Wii U. Now, can you play GameCube games in the Wii U?
You cannot.
Okay, so you get the Wii, but you don't get the Wii.
They only do one generation backwards compatibility.
Which is still even something amazing to ask for. The fact that you can play a whole console of games for many years of lifespan, can play it on a next gen console. I mean, it was great when PlayStation 2 did it.
Oh, that's a thing, and only one I think that actually went multiple generations back was PlayStation 3. Every PS3 could actually play PS1 games. There's only the first couple models that actually play PS2 as well. So you could have a console that just had any Sony game you own or any PlayStation game you own, you could play on that one console, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's just the generational gap. I mean, I think when we went from 3 to 4 and 360 to 1, I think there was just a shift in technology that kind of made it not possible, I'd imagine.
It's kind of weird. It's the whole mindset is no one wants to go back and play the old stuff, yet that's all we're doing now. We're playing remasters. We're going back, seeing if we can find older stuff. We're playing retro games.
I think that the whole indie game craze kind of picked up and made everyone want to go back and play kind of these more classic games.
Well, we're also getting into a generation that doesn't own the old systems, unlike us, how we kind of still have, I still have my PlayStation 1, my Nintendo 64, and we're starting to get into a generation that's coming in with PlayStation 4 as their first system. And so they've never experienced those retro games, so that's going to make them want to start playing the retro games.
I suppose, but you didn't see our generation going back and playing Atari as much. It's the same concept as we came in with what, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, our generation, and we didn't go back and play roughly. We didn't go back and play old Commodore 64 or Atari.
But,
I did.
I mean, but we also,
that's because that still was what's available.
Yeah, there wasn't that much for Atari versus someone who comes in with PlayStation 4. The amount of games that they haven't played with yet.
Talk about, I played Smash Away, hit E.T.
SNES, Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, Wii, GameCube. There's Sega Dreamcast.
That was a good system.
Dreamcast was nice.
Yeah, I miss it. So there's another game that came out this week called Glorkian Warrior: The Trials of Glork. And while you guys were going on your rant about remasters, I was looking up this game, And basically, it is a mix of Galaga and Saturday morning cartoons and platformers where you go around shooting things. And when I look at it, it reminds you of like a more of a Galaga doodle jump. Like that's what it looks like right now, but it's side-scrolling.
I'm so confused.
It's basically Galaga. And
I'm familiar with all those things you mentioned, but them put together doesn't make sense to me.
It looks like a really fun game, and it's only $4. And the guys who made this also made Potato Man Seeks the Truth with an F, and that got a lot of really great reviews too. So that's on Steam right now. If you guys want to check it out, it is Glorkian Warrior: The Trials of Glork, and it looks pretty interesting. Another game that came out, Lega Ninjago: Shadow of Ronin.
Nothing more needs to be said.
Slender: The Arrival came out for PS4 and Xbox One this week.
Another Slender game. Yay. Scares.
I know, Troy, you're going to be picking that up later.
No. Nope. Do you guys know how Slenderman came about? Like the origin of Slenderman?
No.
I looked it up, but I instantly forgot it.
It started on the Something Awful forums, which were a
Did
big
not
thing
care.
like many, many years ago.
Oh, yeah, and then...
It used to be like the hub of everything, kind of like internet culture-y, and now it's not, because it's dumb.
Used to be the
But
4chan.
yeah, it was like Something Awful and 4chan were like kind of like the hub of like starting new internet trends or whatever. But this is before like Reddit.
I so hate 4chan.
But it was in a thread of like creating paranormal images. So people would take like old photographs and Photoshop in like a blurry face or like a thing in the background.
Yeah.
And it was like, here, I like to put this guy in a suit with no face and just put him in the back of stuff.
I saw those pictures when I was reading that article about the girls who... she murdered
12
someone?
and 13-year-old girls, 2 different girls killed people in the name of Slenderman.
Yeah.
They're being tried as adults.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Should be.
Here you go. There's your little gaming news for the day.
So that came out on the PC a few years ago, so it's a port. Some other PC games coming out are Ethereum, Infinite Crisis, and Pillars of Eternity.
Infinite Crisis.
Yeah, what's going on with those?
Infinite Crisis is, we saw it at PAX. We didn't talk about it because we didn't care.
I'm just going to say, I saw it a while ago when Spade tested it. And we talked about
Okay.
it. And every time you see it, you're like, oh, that looks interesting. You forget about it. You see it again.
I walked by and said, what the hell is this? And Justin's like, yeah, I played this. I'm like, It's a DC MOBA. It's a DC Universe MOBA.
Oh.
Right. So it kind of sets it a little bit of apart. It's kind of more of a team-based thing rather than the other MOBA. I don't know how to do that.
Every MOBA is team-based.
Yeah, I have a hard time like differentiating between them. and
Because
how
there's
to
not
figure out,
much
like, what
difference
ways
between
to-
them.
But there are very specific things that are different between MOBAs, but I don't know how to describe them. Like,
I
know that
said
there
there's
are
nothing different
differences.
between them, but I'll talk about what I'm playing at the end of this, explain why I like it, other MOBAs, but yeah.
Like I'm playing Here's the Storm a little bit.
There we go. See, that's why I'm playing right now.
And like I know it's different than Dota, and I know it's different. But
What's
it's
different
hard
about-
to describe without getting very specific.
No,
into
with
the
Heroes
details
of
of the
Storm,
game.
it's actually kind of easy. It's basic. You pick your character, you go. You don't have to go back to your base and worry about, holy crap, what equipment do I have to buy and stuff like that. You just level up, pick a skill, and fight.
Right, but now say that, like now compare Smite and Dota. It's essentially
Smite's in a 3D realm. It's going over the shoulder type view, but still the same thing. I mean, we can also throw Awesomenauts, which is a MOBA, but 2D.
Ethereum
Think about
is
it.
a real-time
Play it.
strategy game
It is.
that looks a lot like StarCraft.
Thank you for your input. sir.
Yeah. I don't care about MOBAs. I played League of Legends, whatever. They're all the same mechanics. They're fun. They're more fun when you're playing with your friends. There's a lot of different ones.
They
Pick
are.
one you like and just play.
Actually, the only way is to play with your friends, or you just get fucking frustrated.
it's pretty bad.
Like, if you don't have a team
Alright.
working together, you're not having fun.
Yeah, not a huge MOBA fan, but I will play them.
I will say, like, Pillars
talk
of
later about
Eternity's up here, too. I should know more about this, because I know
Obsidian
it's the type of game I
Entertainment,
like.
the guys who made Fallout New Vegas and South Park:
Yeah.
The Stick of Truth, and it's $45.
It's kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons style RPG, if you're familiar with games like Baldur's Gates.
Oh.
More classic way, but this is like kind of updated. Like, it's kind of Baldur's Gate / Diablo-esque. That's from what I could tell. A lot of people are hyped up about it. It's finally out, so
It looks a lot like Path of Exile.
yes, actually,
Yeah.
same type.
Also,
Path
like,
of Exile.
Path of Exile is another Diablo type game. It's actually
Yeah.
made by the people that did Diablo 2,
it's Diablo-esque.
or some developers that did Diablo 2.
Never got into those.
Yeah, that third person go around
I
kind
don't
of
say
like
third person. I thought it was like
MMO.
isometric, that
There-
top down.
It's okay.
Isn't that what that's called? What's the difference between isometric and top-down?
Well, same thing. I thought you said like third person.
That is third person.
Well, when you think of third person, I'm thinking of more over the shoulder.
Over the shoulder third person, but it's in third person because you're not.
Okay,
You're
point
not
taken.
in first person looking at someone or second person.
I prefer second person games where people are describing what happened to.
What, Stanley Parable?
Dragon Age 2. Wasn't it third or second person where it was what's his face?
Dragon Age 2 was like it was third person, it was over the shoulder. Yeah.
No, but it was what's his face was telling the story, the dwarf.
Varric?
Yeah, Varric was telling the story.
The second person point of view, the action is shot from the perspective of a character that is not the protagonist. It can also refer to second person in the narrative sense, where the protagonist is the person playing the game.
So Stanley Parable.
Metro Redux, Killer is Dead, Metal Gear Solid. I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, Skate. Okay. Skate, because you're playing, but it's from the perspective of the cameraman that's always following you.
Okay.
Super Mario 64 is second person, because it's actually from the point of view of the camera Lakudu.
It is, yeah, there you go.
But you're controlling Mario, but it's from the perspective of...
Because if you look in the mirror... God, guys.
You can't see me in the podcast, but I'm gesturing violently with my finger into the camera.
If only you guys would have subscribed.
Mm-hmm. You can see this wonderful wizard spell Troy's putting on us with his finger.
Mass Effect 2. I don't... See, now I don't get it. Now there's some that don't make sense.
Mass Effect
Anyways, enough about first and second person. What's next on the releases?
Forza Horizon 2 presents Fast and Furious.
Get hype!
Cool.
Okay, not just...
I'm bad at racing games, so...
I hate racing games.
Not as hyped.
Like, when I get to the Grand Theft Auto part where you have to win a race, which is, like, usually the third mission, I just stop playing.
See, I would say Forza Horizon is actually a great racing game for people who hate racing games. It's different. It's open world. It's just fun to play.
No.
Have you tried it?
No, but I don't do racing
you don't have
stuff.
Xbox. I don't get heavily into racing stuff, but I like Horizon. It's just different. Takes the edge off. It's nice and relaxing.
Okay. Another nice and relaxing game is Oddworld New and Tasty, which came out for PlayStation 4 a few weeks ago, and now it's finally on the Xbox One.
That's nice. That's good. I like Oddworld.
I never played them.
I
feel like this is the week of, like, I never played these. Don't like these games. No.
Oddworld is one of those games I haven't played, but a lot of good things. It's kind of like the same level of Rayman.
Older Rayman, yeah.
Yeah, older
Rayman. Like the old Super Nintendo platformer kind of things.
Yeah.
It's slower, it's a little bit more methodical. You're trying to save a group of people, but you're also trying to lead them at the same time. There's a lot of traps that can kill them. And there's a lot of things you trigger and you don't realize it's going to kill them on accident. It's one of those type of games.
Okay. Yeah, I need to actually play that. I haven't had time to sit down and play that, but I did download it for this month.
It's awesome. It can be frustrating, but it's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's okay.
There's so many games like that anymore.
So that's all the games that came out this week. In terms of announcements, there was a big data breach this week actually it was on March 2nd that it happened. That was announced this week by Twitch. And if you have a Twitch account, you should have gotten an email at this point. It might have gone to your spam. But basically they announced to everyone that there was a data breach. They had preemptively or reactively at this point basically forced everyone to reset their passwords. So if you log into Twitch and you are prompted to reset your password, that's why. And they said that potentially the username, the passwords, the personal information, such as your name, birthday, anything you gave Twitch, as well as your credit card name that you might have used with Twitch, was potentially breached in this. Not your credit card number, just your name. So.
I have a question.
What?
What happened to all the money Amazon put in Twitch? I have not seen one update, one thing to justify the purpose, one change.
Amazon's just getting money.
It might be back end.
Amazon just wants the money.
That's the thing. You would think it would improve somewhere. And the funny part is, like, I mean, everybody had a rumor that Google was in to buy them, and then that bought out. But in news, Google is going to bring back their streaming with YouTube focused on gaming. So it looks like instead of buying out Twitch, you're going to directly compete with them.
Which makes sense with their YouTube integration. They'll be able to, like, totally.
Yeah.
They already have the infrastructure available and, like, the delivery platform.
Not to mention just the infinite amount of money to back it.
Google money.
Yeah. Like, if you try to partner with Google or do something exclusive, they just kind of laugh at you and like wipe your ass with the money you're offering me.
And they've always been, if they can do it, they'll do it and do it better.
Now, they tried it before, but it's like they're kind of bringing back focus on it. Like, they actually said they have 50 engineers working on it.
50?
Yes, 50!
50?
But take this into consideration. How much does an engineer make?
I don't want to have this discussion.
Oh.
Oh, sorry. Anyways, a shitload of money, and there's 50 of these guys working on this one thing and try to get focused to work right.
Yeah, so they have a lot of people working on it. I mean, and like I said, they have the infrastructure available. They'll do it. They'll figure it out easily compared to, Twitch and Amazon trying to kind of work their way into the idea.
Twitch is really worried a lot about their partner relations. I know that for a fact, that they don't just focus on the streaming. They care a lot about being partners with big streamers and making money off those big streamers. So...
Yeah, and here's the problem with Twitch, what I think Google's going to go at. Google never goes down. YouTube does not go down. Twitch constantly fucking goes down.
That's just a size thing. I think if your company was as big as Google, you have enough servers and resources that you don't go down. I'm sure Google servers go down all the time, but the
they have enough.
are probably
exactly.
are a lot better.
And that's the thing. That's going to be appeal to some people that are sick of, like, we're going to Twitch stream today, and they look like, oh, Twitch is down. We'll have to find out something else.
I suppose, and that's probably where a lot of the Amazon resources are probably going to. And probably not an easy thing to build those redundancies in after the fact. So, but back to the Twitch breach. Yeah, that's kind of a big deal that they got hacked. It's kind of the year of being hacked, it seems like, between Sony and everybody else.
I don't think anybody claimed responsibility for it yet, which we know is going to come, or someone's going to claim.
I'm sure someone's going to say something, and it'll probably end up being some
jackass
lulzsec or some bullshit like that again.
Mm-hmm.
But that is that. But to your partner relations comment, Sarah, it does make sense, but Google and YouTube have done the same thing from the start of YouTube. YouTube goes out of its way to work with their YouTube partners to make sure that they can not only make money off of them, but that they're delivering enough content to make money on.
Yeah, but once again, YouTube has more people dedicated to those things because it's a bigger company.
I guess, but it's the same business model.
Yeah.
It's scalable to your business. It's
True.
The same idea. It's you are a content delivery system. You partner. You want to be close with the people creating content for you that are in directly influencing your revenue by pulling in people to watch.
I'm not
arguing.
It's
the same model if you're a massive Google corporation or a mom and pop Twitch shop. Which I don't know how many people work at Twitch, but I think a lot more than a mom and pop.
Yeah. So speaking of other stuff and companies and things, PlayStation 4's version 2.5 update is coming out this week, which we talked a little bit about the rumors. But some of the features you can expect with this update is that very fun suspend/resume feature, where basically you can leave your game on and rest your system and then still go back to the game, which is awesome. You can.
Cool. That's something you definitely. You can actually see an Xbox One as well. It's kind of nice that Sony's taking those steps.
Okay, yeah. You can also back up and restore your HDD to USB. You can find and connect with friends easier with social tools, improved friend requests, all the parties changing that. Trophy optimization, which includes sorting options, as well as that delete 0% of trophies for those games you tried and hated. Other things they have is accessibility stuff, so customized button assignments, zoom for display pictures in inverted colors, text-to-speech, enlarged text, bolder fonts and higher contrast UI, remote play and share play, automatic installation for system software updates, sub-account upgrade, verified accounts, and daily motion. So that's the quick update for PlayStation. You can check that out on their blog. If you haven't downloaded it yet, now you can, because this is coming out after that update. And it's a pretty robust but exciting update, especially for that suspend resume.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, the sub-account upgrade is fantastic. The one that's shown, they're actually starting to allow to make changes on, some back-end stuff that you previously couldn't on your account, which I'm getting excited for. That probably means name changes are going to come up soon. But the big thing about sub-account, because there might have been somebody that was, honest when they made their account, said they were 16, and of course they passed the age, and they can't buy anything because they're on a sub-account, and it's just so limited, but they don't want to give it up because all their saves are on that. So now they can just upgrade, regular account. That's awesome. It took them forever to get to it, but it's nice that they're actually finally addressing these concerns.
All right, and that's about it for the system update. Another news thing for everyone, all of our Russian listeners that we got going on today. Apparently Halo Online is coming to Russia, and Russia only, so congrats, Russia.
Go Russia.
What?
Halo Online is coming to Russia only.
What the hell is Halo Online?
It is based after the events of Halo 3, and it features classic weapons and vehicles from previous Halo games as fan favorite maps. It was created basically for low-end PC play.
What the hell? I've never heard of this.
As of yet, Microsoft has no plans to release it outside of Russia.
Like, it just got announced and dropped, and no one heard anything about this till now.
It's free to play. Only in Russia.
Good job, Russia. Putin's looking out for you.
There's no campaign mode.
If he's not an extra character on there, like he's the Sergeant Johnson, I'll be very upset.
So it's online multiplayer on PCs in Russia.
That's weird. Although, now that I think about it, there's like a Counter-Strike clone that's free to play. And it's big in like Japan. Same idea. Like, it wasn't produced by Valve, but it was licensed.
I was say, like I mentioned when I was talking about Dragon Ball Zetaverse, there's a Dragon Ball MMO that was only in Korea.
Yeah. So maybe this isn't that crazy.
It happens.
If they probably analyzed the market and said, look, Russia doesn't have a lot of... They have a lot, like, low-end PC market. They have a huge low-end PC market. Probably still playing, like, Counter-Strike 1.6 or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it is Russians do.
And there's enough people playing.
Right, that they'll say, here's a Halo game, and pump it out. That's probably...
Yeah.
That makes sense. Interesting that it's only releasing in Russia, and especially for the PC. I feel like Microsoft should... we've said this for a while. Microsoft should release a PC version of Halo, and I think we're getting close to that with the Xbox One and the bridge with Windows 10.
Yeah, I mean,
so I think you'll actually be able to play Halo on your PC if you own an Xbox One. But the next step obviously is.
I mean, they've done it before, but it's like not good ports, and I think
right. But I think now, like we were saying, that the architecture, I think, is a little bit closer. Especially, in fact, it is identical to Windows 10 now, or will be. So now there will be a probably better parity between PC and Windows, or PC and Xbox. So, yay, maybe.
That was my little news tidbit. So let's, in our big topic of the week, besides, we talked about Nintendo last week. This week there was a lot going on with Konami and Kojima. And so I guess before we kind of go into exactly what's happening, let's kind of go into who Kojima is and how has he been influencing Konami these past few years. Guys?
Oh! Hideo Kojima-san.
Kojima's the hiker with the backpack. Konami's in the backpack. There you go.
So yeah, Hideo Kojima is the creator of the Metal Gear series.
Yes.
He's been working. He was the original creator of the Metal Gear series. He's been working solely on Metal Gear for the longest time, and I think only recently has been branching out into another.
If you want to say what Kojima's brought to gaming, though, he's shown that gaming can be a cinematic experience. I don't think anybody experienced anything with that much story before titles like Metal Gear, or just the fact like it's. Hey, you could watch a video game and still be entertained by it while having like some awesome gameplay in it.
Well, so like Final Fantasy brought in the concept of creative storylines, and so that RPG storyline, and then you'd say Kojima is the one that brought in the idea of really upping the cinematics, having this immersive storyline, these long, drawn-out cutscenes.
Why can't you have a cutscene that's just as entertaining as watching a full-fledged production movie? They don't have to be like crappy, just people talking to get backstory. It can actually be action-packed. You can enjoy just watching them. It's not just for the information.
And with a totally interconnected storyline that I'm just now learning.
Right.
I think we blew your mind the other day with that.
Yeah, we did. I've never played Metal Gear games, and I've never been a huge Sony person, so I've never played Metal Gear games. I like the idea of them, but I never had a Sony platform to play them on, so I never did. So now I'm like, oh, there's a huge, the story is so massive for Metal Gear, and the upcoming Phantom Pain, the final Metal Gear game in the series, kind of like wraps up a bunch of loose ends. And I'm like, what loose ends were there? And now I'm watching these YouTube series that are going through like each game sequentially in the storyline. All right, now here's this guy, and then he had a son. He was in a coma, and they took his DNA, and he had 3 kids, and this is one of them. The other one you kill, and it's like, all right, cool. This is a really complicated story.
Oh, it's not like the story's just been connected just from the Metal Gear Solid series, which started at PlayStation. It's also from his original 2 Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, which was on the
NES.
Not NES, no. NES was a crappy port. I did not have Kojima's permission. It was the MSX, which was a Japanese computer entertainment system.
MSX. Yes, so like the story, they've worked that story into the story of the game that's coming out
everything's
this
canon.
year. Yeah. So here's what happened. Konami put out an announcement earlier in January that they were restructuring their executive board, basically eliminating Kojima from their executive board. Now, it's not the worst thing to do. They made an announcement with it that they were going to try and kind of centralize their company and say, from a corporate structure, centralize their power and basically turn everything into kind of production houses. Kind of like Ubisoft has, an Ubisoft corporate entity, but then they have Ubisoft Montreal and Ubisoft wherever else they have Ubisoft. So that wasn't too worrisome until recently.
Last week,
thank you. They pulled all of Kojima's name from all of the Metal Gear production material. All of the things, like all the posters and everything said a Hideo Kojima game.
Just missing.
Is gone.
Like even the cover art in digital storefronts, they replaced them.
Yeah, this was early last week, about Tuesday or Wednesday.
Right.
And
so everything went down. The Kojima Productions, the company that was made to build Metal Gear games, like that's just the production house, totally gone. You can't find that company. Like that website doesn't exist. It redirects to just the main Metal Gear page. The Konami, the LA office for Kojima Productions. So I think Kojima Productions was a Japanese company based in Japan, I think.
Kojima Productions, they actually they had a couple things. They had one in Japan and they had an LA studio as well.
So the Japan office doesn't exist anymore. The LA office got turned into Konami LA.
Yes.
Like their LA office for Konami, which makes sense with the whole restructure plan. But so sources on the Metal Gear team have basically said, yeah, we're now contract employees for Metal Gear, and that's it. Contract employee being like business term for you work on this project, and when this project is over, you go find another job.
Which is odd. Like, you have something like Kojima, and he's on contract?
Yeah. Everyone in that team is now... And so Konami released a statement later after kind of everyone picked it up. All the news agencies picked it up.
2 days later.
Saying, no, we're going to continue to produce Metal Gear. Kojima is still around to produce Metal Gear. And that's it. Like, and we'll let you know more in the future. Like, very kind of vague. But what they said specifically was Metal Gear. Now, the other game Hideo Kojima's working on is Silent Hills.
Which we hear
no mention of Silent Hills at all. So
and like basically when they announced that too, they basically said they only talked about this Metal Gear, and they said it was going to stay on track, it was going to be released, and then they also said we are currently looking for developers for the other Metal Gear titles, and they linked to a hiring page. Yeah,
Kojima has said this is the last Metal Gear game that he's going to produce. He said this is the last Metal Gear game, and then kind of later amended it that he will be a part of. It's the end of the story.
Which, by the way, Kojima's saying this is my last Metal Gear. That's not odd for Kojima. He said that 3 different times. But the fact he said this, then all this other stuff is happening.
Right.
It's raises concerns.
But he's been saying this is the last Metal Gear for a while, like in terms of the story.
Yeah.
But he made it kind of clear, like this is going to be the last one we're working on. And now let's take his name off of everything and close the production house. And by the way, we might make some more Metal Gear once he's gone.
I mean, the weirdest thing about this, like Kotaku just wrote an article labeled "Where's Hideo Kojima? Show him to me." And that's the thing, like no one can find him can interview him. He's pretty much locked down on Twitter. The only thing you see coming from him is stuff promoting Metal Gear Solid 5. And
like retweets for Metal Gear promotion.
Yeah, it's like he is locked down. He can't say anything. There's nothing coming from him. Now, with
this
Kojima,
would all be kind of
he's the biggest fucking troll. And some people are thinking, is he just doing this again? Except this would be straight cruel. This is a whole other level of PR than his normal kind of antics. This is like a whole company is disappearing. Yeah, this is not creating a fake company with a fake developer trying to promote a game that's your claim is not Metal Gear but is.
Right.
This is just, I don't know. It's weird to see a big name like this locked down.
Right. Yeah. This is totally kind of unheard of. So and the fact that he's this will all be alleviated if he would come out and say, yeah, I stepped away from Konami. We've parted. We're working on Metal Gear, and that'll be it for us. And we'll see what the future holds. But he hasn't said a word to anyone about it, which makes it all the more concerning when you have kind of leaks and from inside the production team for Metal Gear saying, yeah, everything's kind of fucked. You don't have any like kind of backing of an official statement to kind of back that up. It's very worrisome for fans.
And let's think about the future. Like slightly kind of happy about this because I mean, if it is, and just they're all going to part, I mean, it's still weird how locked down he is about it, but the fact that he'll be able to branch off because Kojima can work anywhere. Anyway, you pick him up, he could probably get his own backing to get his own studio to do exactly whatever he wants to do. Mm-hmm. I like that idea to Hideo Kojima doing some other games or like maybe revisit some old stuff like Zone Enders or Snatchers. What I am worried about is this would probably be a good thing. I think this is the end or the beginning of the end for Konami because they really don't have much. They had Castlevania and they already ran that in the ground. They got winning
Metal Gear.
They have Metal Gear. They have winning 11-7. I can't really think of much else
Street
they have.
Fighter?
Silent Hills.
No.
That's Capcom. They do have Silent Hills, but
That's the fighting game they're talking about.
I don't think they got a fighting game right now.
Yeah, they do, because we got tagged for it.
Why you look it up?
No,
it's
we
just I don't know. They're losing all their like original talents that drove these franchises, and now they're just going to get to the point where like I guess see them making Metal Gear what Assassin's Creed is to Ubisoft now, or what Call of Duty is to Activision, and it's just going to sink the company.
No, we got tagged for.
Yeah, that was Capcom.
Metal Gear.
Fucking Capcom. No, Capcom tagged us for theirs.
Yeah, well,
and Metal Gear.
Yeah.
Well, Capcom's another example too. They just drive all their great franchises they have straight into the ground and don't do anything with them. For instance,
right?
Like Mega Man.
It's another one where exactly. So it's very concerning, and you're right. Konami really doesn't have that much else. They co-produce a lot of stuff. They produce and publish a lot of things, but they don't. You're right. They don't have a hand in a lot of things except for Metal Gear, Silent Hill. And I'm trailing off purposely because I don't know any others.
Yeah, they're just going to end up joining the ranks with Sega, Rare. They're just going to be all their IPs being sold out eventually.
That's a possibility, or bought out, as a wholesale for the company. Possibility, yeah, possibility.
I nod in agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Which you can see if you subscribe to the GlitchFeed YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, that's something that, we should care about him leaving because this is a big impact for a big company. And even if you aren't, like me, familiar or played the Metal Gear games, you know enough about Kojima and his influence on the game industry as a whole that, it's really weird. So we'll be keeping an eye on things, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
It seems like he has some sort of, gag order right now, so...
Yeah, it's definitely concerning.
It's Kojima. I'm going to let people know if something changes.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they don't want him to talk about it till the split, so that they don't...
Which I'm thinking that might be it, and after that gag order's off, when he's officially parted from the company.
So...
Could be.
We'll have to see in 6 months, 8 months, whenever that releases, so...
September.
E3 is going to be interesting, because I wonder if they're actually will even allow him to go.
He might go private.
Yeah.
But if he still has such an influence,
well, if he's under
Metal
contract,
Gear,
he may not be able
should
to.
Go.
I think with Metal Gear releasing in September, they'll put him there for Metal Gear.
And that's the thing, like
and Silent Hills, I'm sure will be some sort of content for that.
And that's the big thing. I can't remember like a big gaming event like E3 where he hasn't been there. He's always there.
He's always had something to show, especially with kind of consistent Metal Gear development. Yeah. I think they'll send him for Metal Gear. I'm sure they'll have an announcement before E3, but they'll send them for Metal Gear. That's a massive release a couple months after E3 that they can't just ignore.
It's also interesting to see how some people in the industry are reacting to this. Jeff Keighley I was watching his tweets. It's almost like he was mourning him like Kojima died. He's like, I talked to Kojima once. He's like, he gave me this ninja figure. There was like a next tweet. He told me I was the ninja of the industry. Like, just going into this whole like eulogy of Kojima in his tweets. Like, he's still alive.
I mean, but the way his presence is right now,
I think Keighley felt like I can no longer talk to Kojima. I always was able to talk to Kojima. They won't let me.
Yeah, it's kind of concerning almost. But we'll know more when everyone knows more. Really, there's nothing. Yeah. I think this is going to be one of those. We'll all find out at the same time.
That's the thing. Like I think he'll be allowed to go to something like E3 and only allowed to give the presentation and then gone. Like he won't be allowed to do interviews and stuff like that.
Yeah. They'll definitely lock him down, I'm sure, even regardless of what they say or don't say.
But even if he's leaving and his contract works at the end, he's probably going to be focusing more on a big reveal of what he's doing next, no matter what, around that time. If
he has something that he's doing next,
that's the thing that
he
sucks.
Might not have anything.
That's the other thing that sucks too. He
might be putting all his eggs into Metal Gear and Silent Hills, and if Konami takes over Silent Hills and boot him...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they just built this Fox engine, which was used in a couple of the winning 11 games. It's going to be used in Metal Gear. It's supposed to be used in Silent Hill. This whole new engine they finally developed, which is just going to be the straight platform for all their current gen releases. And I'm guessing, now that's Konami's property. So it kind of sucks for them.
Yeah, it's part of the deal. I mean, it's their company. So we'll know more when everyone knows more, I think. you said this won't be something we'll all find out in piecemeal. Okay, so I had one question for you because we talked about it a little bit earlier. We've been bouncing around it for weeks and weeks and weeks. We've never really kind of hammered it down. But I want to ask you guys to describe your kind of gaming preferences quickly. So, for example, we talked I don't like MOBAs, but I will play them. I enjoy them, but I don't play them all the time. What are your kind of go-to genres, go-to franchises that you guys really, really enjoy and that will come back to time and time again?
Harvest Moon.
Harvest Moon?
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been playing Harvest Moon? Have you been following that since Super Nintendo?
Not Super Nintendo, Game Boy, original Game Boy. I played Harvest Moon 2, I believe was it. It was the first one I played.
Okay.
I think my first one was Super Nintendo for Harvest Moon. Great series, I love them.
Mine was GameCube, so I got nothing on that.
GameCube was a good one.
GameCube was a good one.
But Harvest Moon is one of those games where I can take a break and then go back and keep playing or buy a new game. I own maybe 6 or 7 editions of Harvest Moon as well as Rune Factor. And I'm getting a new Harvest Moon next week, so I will usually buy those games anytime they come out. That's my go-to game.
I mean, and we also know you're a huge Final Fantasy fan.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of time in Final Fantasy. You always have something to say about Final Fantasy. Is that kind of that RPG genre that just what kind of drives you?
It used to. Now that I have a job and I can't dedicate the time to Final Fantasy, it's kind of puttered off.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, those grand story games have kind of taken a hit on my end too.
Yeah, because it's I usually with Final Fantasies, I'll put a bunch of hours in and then hit a wall, and then I won't play for 6 months, and then I'll start over and just power through it. But now I don't even get to that point where I hit a wall. I just kind of play a few hours, and then I'm just I can't sit down and dedicate 8 hours to play Final Fantasy anymore.
Right.
So,
Right.
But I will go back. I have my PlayStation, and I will go back and I will play Final Fantasy 8, Final Fantasy 9. The originals, but I didn't go out and buy the HD. I'm not going to go out and buy the HD remaster of 10 and 10.2 for my PlayStation 4.
Because you already have 10 and 10.2 for the PS2, and you're comfortable playing those.
I don't know where it is. I know where 10.2 is, but I don't see point in buying it. I think 15 is going to reignite my flame for Final Fantasy.
And I see what you're saying about 10 and 10.2. It's just when I think I want to replay a Final Fantasy, 10's not the one that jumps to mind.
No, I totally replay it. I just don't want to invest the time and energy into Final Fantasy games right now.
Which I understand that too. Like we've been talking about, it's I'm actually relieved games are short because I want to experience this. I play it, I beat it, and it was 8 hours or so. It's great, I got a great experience, and it's not carrying on. I'm done with it. I can go into the next thing.
Yeah, I was raised on RPGs, so I have to collect everything and do everything, and it's I played the Final Fantasy 15 demo. And I maybe played 6 hours and didn't get that far in it because I started running around exploring. That's a Final Fantasy game is going to be 100+ hours for me, and that's a big commitment. Mm-hmm. So
I say all this, and I bought Bloodborne, which I probably shouldn't have because I don't have the time for it.
Yeah, Justin, what about you? What do you kind of find is your kind of go-to industry?
I think I don't have a specific genre. I play about everything. The only thing I don't heavily play is mainly sports games. But I mean, Metal Gear fan. Every Metal Gear comes out, I gotta buy it. I got the guilty pleasure of Dynasty Warriors, which I don't buy everyone, thankfully, but I have the urge to.
Troy?
Yeah, that I really don't have much to add to that. That's roughly about it. I play everything. I don't really have a preference. I just stick to, and that's all I play.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think actually my problem is I don't spend too much time on one game.
Oh, so you bounce around a lot more than
I do. There are games I do put a lot of hours. I put a lot of hours in Dying Light, even though it doesn't feel like I have. But I'm playing it. I'm done with Dying Light, even though there's a new game plus and all that. I kind of do want to go back and finish that. Don't feel an urge, and it's kind of off my plate right now.
Yeah, what are your guys' opinions on actually finishing games? Are you total hardcore where you have to sit and you have to finish that game at some point, or are you comfortable kind of leaving a game on your installed that you're probably never going to get back to?
Well, I kind of explained it. If I take a break and don't play it for a while, I have to restart a game. I can't just jump into a game.
I agree with that.
If it's a game like Assassin's Creed, I have to beat the game I'm currently playing before I play the next one. If it's a linear game, I really hate jumping into new games, even if people say you don't need the old games to know it. No, I do.
No, if it has a consistent story, I feel the exact same way. I have to.
Yeah.
No, if it's something like Final Fantasy, I don't feel like I need to play 8 to go play 9 because the story doesn't matter.
Yeah, those I think are a little bit different. Final Fantasy.
I think if I'm playing a game, I would like to play it front to end before I leave out something else. It really depends on what type of game it is. Something like Smash Brothers. I don't have to lock everybody to go play the next game.
Right.
Hyrule Warriors, I don't feel like I had to play the whole adventure mode until I play something else. But story, I had to. I had to finish story mode. So I like to finish the complete story. As far as like collection goes, it really, again, depends on the game. If it's one of those things like collecting everything is feasible, that I don't have to spend a ton of hours on, I'll try to do it and try to 100% it. But and that's changed. When I was younger, I like to try to 100% every single game, try to get every collectible. I just don't have the time for it anymore.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Troy? Okay. What kind of games do you play?
I find myself coming back to RPGs a lot more than I think I normally realize. I will buy every Pokemon game at some point. Like, I just went and bought a 3DS a couple of weeks ago and bought the new Pokemon game just because it was there. And I'm like, well, I'm going to have a good time playing it. I will play it. Things that kind of suck me in tend to be like RPGs that I can come back to. Like, I'm a huge MMO fan because of that same thing. I can spend hours and hours and hours, I'm going to tonight, playing WoW because it's just something to do. But on the finishing games thing, I will totally leave a game on my desktop for months and months, if not years, with every intention of finishing it, and never do. I have no intention of finishing Dragon Age. I still install it. I stare at it every time I turn my computer on, but
that is one I have not finished yet. And those are games I usually used to finish. The reason for Dragon Age is like I had issues where my game actually just crashes on some cutscenes, and I like lose a lot of progress. Well, not a lot of progress, but progress I really don't feel like repeating again, and I just lose interest. Like I'm near the end. I could probably finish the game. I sit there giving another good few hours. I just haven't yet.
Yeah, like things like Mass Effect, where it's coming in time where a lot bigger games have come out, and I have a lot less time to play them. And I think Sarah, like, same thing. I have a job. I have a full-time job that I gotta do. It's not like I'm in school or in high school or whatever, where I can just sit down and plunk down 8 hours every night.
Yeah, with all of us,
come home and I got stuff to do.
We have full-time jobs, so when we come home, we do stuff like this. I'm on different podcasts, a couple of YouTube channels. I have to do all that.
This is another full-time job for us
that we don't get paid for.
But we don't get paid for. But yes, like, I have no problem anymore leaving. Like, I'm not gonna finish Assassin's Creed. I'm like, my girlfriend's playing through it right now. I have no intention. I'll watch her play it and go, that's
I would say there's absolutely no reason to, if you're talking about whatever Unity. Yes.
Yeah.
I am interested in playing Rogue.
I don't want to play it.
But
Rogue looks interesting, but like I don't really care. But it used to be a big deal to me to finish stories, but now I'm just, I don't know.
I can't fault you in Unity. There's no reason to finish that story whatsoever.
Yeah. But things like I like sports games. I don't like racing games. I'm not a huge fan of MOBAs. I'm pretty indifferent. I can bounce around to pretty much anything, and my Steam library agrees with that statement a lot.
I think is what helped. Well, not help, but we kind of like contributed to me bouncing the games to Steam. You see, like something.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I just bounce. I don't mean to, but like they're so damn cheap. We're like, I'm gonna buy and play for a bit, and you completely just gets sidetracked from what you were doing previously. Right.
And like I can dedicate, like I have games I would love to sit and play a lot in, but I'm not gonna do it. Like Hotline Miami, I liked playing it, but like, I'm not gonna find time to play it. Like I'm not gonna put time away from doing other stuff to play Hotline Miami.
Like I'm seriously considering getting a Vita just for the cross-buy the games for stuff like Hotline Miami. I want to try Helldivers. Yeah. It just happened it where I could do it on 2 platforms and then the saves just transfer. Yeah, I might have to get into that.
So wrapping up here, let's kind of just segue really easy into what are we playing right now. So Justin, what are you mentioned you were playing something earlier.
A couple things. We already talked about Bloodborne. I went into all the details about that. No reason to revisit that again. I'm dying a lot. Spoilers. Next thing is like I didn't expect to get to is Heroes of Storm. I hate MOBAs. I hate the idea behind them. Like I'm the type when I'm fighting, I like to stand there and fight, not like hit and run away. And I hate when they run away because I have to chase them. Anyways, the reason why I'm liking Heroes of the Storm is it like Blizzard does. They take a genre and they do it well. They fully think it out when they're making the game in every aspect. And what they did is simplify MOBAs. It's just straight action. You don't have to worry about a bunch of micromanagement with getting equipment, getting gold. There's objectives. There's other objectives you can get that will help you win. But that's it. Like it's just straight. I mean, not saying like it's a shallow game. There's definitely heavy strategy to start with every MOBA, but it takes a lot of the unnecessary shit out of it, and that's why I appreciate about it. But other than that, so Bloodborne, Hotline Miami as well, and Heroes of the Storm is mainly what I've been playing.
Yeah, I actually picked up Heroes of the Storm this week as well. It was kind of weird, totally independent from you, and it was interesting. I played a couple of rounds of it, and I probably have to play with friends, so we should talk afterwards and
we should coordinate
that. But it was okay. It was fun. Meh. Sarah, what are you doing?
Well, I played some more of the Final Fantasy 15 demo. I busted out my old Harvest Moon, A New Beginning game because I'm getting excited for Story of Seasons, which comes out next Tuesday. And I'm pretty pumped about that. I've been watching this game for it's almost been 2 years since it was announced and released in Japan. Because a lot of Harvest Moon games, they come out in Japan and then it takes a while to come to America. The reason why it's called Story of Seasons and not Harvest Moon, fun fact, is that the guys that make Harvest Moon, they actually split. The original Harvest Moon makers, I think it was I can't think of their names off the top of my head. But so they had 2 developers, and so the 2 developers split, and one took all of the rights to Harvest Moon. But these are the guys that still made the game, so they had to create a new IP, which is Story of Seasons, but it's pretty much the exact same game. So that's coming out on Tuesday.
Which is something like, From Software, Bloodborne, they had Dark Souls, which was a Sony-owned property, but they took the same game, Demon Souls, and renamed it to Dark Souls. FYI, Bloodborne had a weird experience. I bought it at a Walmart. I haven't bought a game at a Walmart in forever. Felt weird. Not right.
I think the last game I bought at a Walmart was oh god, was it Call of Duty? It was one of those midnight releases where I went in college. And that was the only thing nearby. It was a Meyer, but same deal. Midwest deal.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Victor Interactive Software versus Natsume. Natsume owns Harvest Moon. This VIS owns the new Story of Seasons, aka Bakuju Monogatari.
Oh, son.
So I'm excited. I'm really excited for that game.
Cool.
I pre-ordered it. I'm going to be playing the shit out of it. I love Harvest Moon games. I was explaining this game to my friends, where he's like, "What is Harvest Moon?" I'm like, "Well, it's farming simulator and a dating simulator." And he's like, "So
you know Farmville? It's like an advanced version of that that's been around for a lot longer and has a dating simulator."
He's like, "So you're describing pretty much 75% of America's population." And I'm like,
"Oh, no microtransactions, by the way."
Yeah, I guess I am. This one is very much, the last game introduced the concept of took advantage of Nintendo DS's online features, and this one really pushes that. Additionally, you get a lot of new animals in the game, which you didn't before. This game, I don't know if you guys haven't played in a while, the animals you can control are just freaking off the wall.
That's what I was about
Can I control an emu?
Maybe.
No, but hold on.
Not interested.
But as I was about to say, to actually go in with that, I haven't played a Harvest Moon in a while, and I'm actually considering buying this one.
Cows, Jersey cows, Zebu cows, sheep, Suffolk sheep, alpacas and llamas, Angora goats and camels. Those
llamas, I'm in.
Araucana chickens is new, and then Angora rabbits and black Angora rabbits. So
I'm intrigued. I might buy it.
It'll keep me busy for quite a while. It'll help me get through the April lull of games, since there's pretty much nothing coming out in April. That's interesting to me, so.
It's really not.
Supposed to be. But...
Well, we'll see. We'll see if anything good comes out in April.
It's going to get delayed.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Probably, yeah. I'm sure it will. So, yeah.
Great, so that's Troy.
I have been playing the fuck out of my DS. I have a week off between some stuff right now, personal life stuff, so I've just been sitting at home playing video games, and I've been playing a lot of my DS. A lot of my DS, which has been great. So I've been sinking a lot of time into Fire Emblem and a lot of time into Pokemon. I found I am a very aggressive and very patient Fire Emblem player. And I'm playing on hard on my first playthrough, which is dumb. And I'm playing with the realistic death thing that Fire Emblem always had. So all of my games consist of me basically getting through 80% of it and then quitting because someone died. And then doing 80% of it again by turtling my way across the map and then beating it, and then someone dies in the last 2 seconds.
I'm one of those type of gamers as well. Granted, you're supposed to accept it and move on. I can't. I have to replay it because I know he can survive somehow, or they can survive somehow.
Yeah, I know it did something dumb, and it, everyone targets one guy, and then he dies. I'm like, well, I gotta do this all again and not put him there.
Why do you do realistic death then? I do the same thing, but I just want to hear, because I'm sure someone will come up and be like, why don't you just have it so that they don't auto-die, they just get injured?
It's it, because you feel like you have to play the game the way it was meant to be played.
Yeah, and realistic death is the way Fire Emblem has always been. So that was one of the first, when those options were up on the screen. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to play realistic death. That's how Fire Emblem is played to me.
I have not progressed well in this war of mine.
Why I played on hard, I don't know.
Well, here's my mindset, is that you're going to be playing and approaching situations completely different if you have that security net of, oh, well, they're not going to die. When you sit there and you're fighting these guys and you have one enemy left and you have someone that is like either really weak to them, like a freaking Pegasus rider versus Arrow guy, and you're just like, they're really close or whatever, your heart starts beating, like you start freaking out, and you're like, it's just intense. It changes.
There was a point this afternoon I was playing where I accidentally set a guy in the wrong spot, and then all of a sudden every single enemy swarmed him, but for whatever reason he had like a 60% dodge chance. So, or like a 40% dodge chance to a 60% hit. And I'm like watching there like, please don't die. Please don't die. Please don't die. And sure enough, every single thing missed him. I'm like, yes. Oh, you. And then I got to my next turn and he lived. And I actually won on that playthrough. It was a good feeling though. But it was insane. Also, fuck Pegasus Knights. They have no place on my teams. No place. They're weak. Anyways, so that's it for us for this week. Thank you all for joining us. We encourage you guys to go and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to hear more of this kind of stuff. It would be great, because that's how we know that you people are still listening. Hello, if people are there. Other than that, check out our Daily Glitch channel while you're there. Our Daily Glitch videos every weekday, with all the daily news and all that. So, yeah, check us out there, youtube.com/glitchfeed. You can check us out at glitchfeed.com for all of our kind of links and everything. Follow us on Twitter at GlitchFeed. Basically, if you look up Google GlitchFeed, you'll probably find most of our stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I think we have actually good Google presence.
We do.
Last I checked, which is nice. Which is very nice.
Yeah, Daily Glitch comes up, GlitchFeed comes up. It's great.
All right, great.
SEO. So anyways, thank you guys for joining us, and
Thank
we'll catch you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Click. Stop.